Chris Brown is a fucking idiot. This is pretty much like saying water is wet. It's common knowledge at this point. We're aware that he does things simply for the sake of controversy. We know he's capable of violence toward women. But did you know he's also a conspiracy theorist? Here's a tweet from Christopher M. Brown on October 13th, 2014. I don't know, but I think this Ebola epidemic is a form of population control. Shit is getting crazy, bruh. You're right about one thing in this tweet, Chrissy. You don't know. That's where this tweet should have ended. But Chris Brown believes the idea that Ebola is a form of intentional population control. You know what, I'm feeling generous. Maybe I'll give him a second one. Shit is getting crazy, bruh. But not for the reason he believes. As of writing this, there have been 4,555 deaths, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Most of these cases in West Africa. That seems like a lot, right? It's the biggest Ebola outbreak in history, leading conspiracy theorists to claim that world governments, particularly the US government, because they're pure evil and they also caused 9/11, Sandy Hook, and the Sharknado movies, unleashed this strain of Ebola in Africa in an attempt to thin the ranks out. Natural News, which I once thought was just a poor man's version of The Onion until I realized the guy who runs the site was serious, is doing its part to perpetuate this, saying, in fact, the vastly improved transmission ability of the Ebola strain currently circulating, compared to previous outbreaks in years past, has many people convinced that this strain is a weaponized variant, which has either broke through containment protocols at government labs or was intentionally deployed as a population control weapon. So, many people are convinced that the government has intentionally murdered 4,555 people and counting using the Ebola virus. Let's entertain this fucking insanity for a moment because what the hell? If this was the case, the government fucking sucks at killing mass amounts of people. Sure, 4,555 people is a lot. But you know what's an even bigger number? 230,000. That is the number of people reported to have died from tuberculosis in Africa in 2012 that didn't also have HIV at the time. There are 250,000 additional deaths if you include the ones with HIV. You want to hear another number that's even higher than those? 627,000. That's the number of malaria deaths that the World Health Organization estimated in 2013, with 80% of malaria cases occurring, guess where? That's right, Africa. Now that shit's scary. You can get it from a fucking mosquito bite. You don't even have to have been anywhere near a person with it. But no one is claiming that the US government is weaponizing mosquitoes to infect people. Or maybe they are and I've mercifully avoided those fucking nut jobs. But it seems like other diseases are doing a way better job than the disease people are claiming the US is using for population control. 4,555 is nothing compared to about 1 million deaths in a year from 2 diseases and help from a third. Ebola is scary because it's harder to treat. We don't have an official cure, only an experimental drug that has seemingly worked, but has not gone through enough proper testing. Americans are in a fucking tizzy over this because there have been a few cases in the USA. And just like with bird flu and SARS, people are panicked. CNN reported that a Washington Post ABC News poll showed nearly 2/3 of respondents are concerned about an Ebola epidemic in the USA. People have been spotted wearing masks and even full-out hazmat suits at the airport. There have been 8 confirmed cases of Ebola in the USA since August, and of those, 1 has died. Is the disease scary? Sure. You practically melt from the inside. It's fucked up. Should it be taken seriously? Absolutely. The government should continue quarantining people they believe have it, and they should be doing everything they can to figure out how to slow the spread both at home and around the world. Should you panic? No, you shouldn't. Nor should you believe ridiculous statements like, Ebola is a form of population control, or the CDC has said that Ebola is now airborne, which it's not. You could get it if a person with Ebola coughs straight into your mouth, but it's not airborne in the same way other diseases are airborne. And the CDC has never said that. Here are some quotes from the director of the CDC, Dr. Tom Frieden, that were taken out of context. That's not to say that it's impossible that Ebola, could change or be selected out for airborne transmission. That would absolutely be the worst case scenario, and we'd know that, not so much from cracking the genetic changes, but by looking at what's happening in Africa. Of course, these fuckers ignore this part. We do not see airborne transmission in the outbreak in Africa. We don't see it elsewhere in what we've seen so far. And everything we've seen until now does not suggest any change in how Ebola spreads. But people love to get fucking worked up over this shit. And assholes like Chris Brown with millions of followers taking to Twitter and saying stupid shit about it doesn't help to stop the hysteria, which is spreading far faster than the disease. You will likely be fine. Go about your daily lives. And if you're actually scared that there's going to be a big Ebola outbreak here, then here's what you do. Go to the grocery store, get a month or two worth of supplies, then go home and lock yourself in a room and wait it out. You'll save yourself from getting Ebola, and you'll save everyone around you from having to listen to your paranoid fucking rambling. It's a win-win situation for everyone.